Singing has always been important to me, but I never thought, oh, I'll end up singing, I'll be a singer. I just thought I'm lucky that it's something I can always do if I want to. I'm so lucky like that.
The documentary Amy gives viewers a glimpse into the talented and tragic life of Amy Winehouse. Director Asif Kapadia's film opens with the singer when she was 16. Then it follows her meteoric rise to fame, ending with her death from alcohol poisoning at the age of 27. Asif joins us from our downtown Toronto studios now. And Asif, I have to say, I thought that I knew enough about Amy Winehouse, but it turns out I didn't know anything at all after seeing your documentary. What attracted you to this project?
I think partly it's exactly what you've just said. We all thought we knew Amy Winehouse. We'd seen her on the stage. We're all clever people. We can see someone who's, you know, a bit messed up. And then what happened when we started doing our research is we realized that actually the persona that she became was really very different to the person she used to be. And a lot of the process of making the film was about trying to reveal the real Amy, the young Amy, the really intelligent, beautiful, witty girl that she was, who wrote these amazing lyrics. Everyone knew the songs, they knew she had a great voice, but very few people had really paid attention to the amazing lyrical quality she had.
Yeah, and you know, you really focus in on that. Amy, as a writer, and really was writing the story of her life.
Absolutely. Every song is personal. Every song is based on a real incident or a real relationship or a moment in her life. So it's really her diary. And so a key part of making the film became just studying her songs and trying to figure out who's she talking about. What happened? Where did it happen? So, for example, Rehab is a real incident that took place, and she turned into a song and everyone was dancing away to it, but nobody really was able to pay attention to realize that in one way it's actually a cry for help. The more she says no, no, I think she means yes, yes, yes in a way.
We hear from Amy's friends and family members. They narrate portions of this documentary, but we don't see them. We see still photos, but we don't see them. Tell me about using that method in the making of this doc.
I made a previous film called Senna about the Formula One racing driver, which was done in a similar way, entirely made out of archive. And the interviews that I did, you only heard the voices. For me, it makes it more of a cinematic experience. It makes it more of a movie. You're staying in the present. You're seeing the person who the film is about. And in this case, Amy's on screen pretty much all of the time. And her face, her eyes, they tell you so much. So you just spend a lot of time just looking at her and listening. I think you get more from the story than cutting to the person who's actually talking. For me, that's a bit more television-y. So this has just become a bit of a style that I've done on a few films, and it makes it, for me, more immersive and, at the end, more emotionally powerful.
When someone like this is lost at such a young age, the age of 27, you know, there is that whole blame game that happens. Was her father responsible? Her boyfriend responsible? The friends, the fans, the fame, what is it? And we are introduced to all of those people in this, but you don't point the finger, or in the filmmaking, the finger isn't pointed. Was it difficult for you, Asif, to remain unbiased?
No, actually, because I went into the process of making this film with no agenda. I didn't really know. I never met Amy. I didn't know her. I'm not in the music business, so I don't really know how it all works. So it was just a process of talking to as many people as possible. I spoke to over 100 people, interviewed everyone around Amy I met and spoke to. And then essentially I work with the archive that comes out of it and try to piece together. So the film is really a mosaic of Amy's life. And what you realize is actually real life is far more complicated than a movie script where you say, oh, that was the turning point. That was the moment when their life changed. Actually, real life is everything that happens in your experience comes together to form decisions. So Amy made choices. People around her made choices. Her boyfriend, her parents, her family, her management, the fans, you know, the publicity machine, the kind of paparazzi, and the people who then took that in and enjoyed watching her bad experiences, clicking on those YouTube videos, sharing those, things that they saw on Facebook. I think all of that becomes a part of it in a way that I suppose what I found is that we're all complicit somehow. People thought they knew who Amy was and judged her, and hopefully what the film shows is she was a simple girl, she was a human being, she had amazing talent, she was this raw person. She had a lot of issues, but somehow she had them under control. Somehow she turned her problems into something positive. She created out of them. The problem is when she became really famous and money was around and the people that draws, it all seemed to go downhill. So from the point she became well known in kind of North America, really she was on a downward curve.
You can't make everyone happy when you're delving into a subject like this, like a complicated subject like Amy Winehouse. Her father, Mitch, has come out and said that, you know, he was portrayed in the worst possible light. Her boyfriend at the time said the same thing, that this is a distorted version of her life. How do you respond to that, Asif?
Well, I think because of the way the film's made, where because of the number of people we've spoken to and because of the fact the film was entirely constructed out of archive, I'm just showing the essence of Amy's life, the essence of what was going on at the time. And to be honest, when you see the film, you'll see that I'm kind of not making this up. That's where the whole thing of not having talking heads kind of works, because these TV programs all went out. You know, in England at the time, we saw certain people around Amy were selling stories to the newspapers. People were writing books. People were making TV shows. And actually, when you see the state that she's in at that moment in time, it probably wasn't the best thing for her. So there are points when she needs to get away from the limelight, and then it is drawn back to her by people around her. And those were choices that were made by, you know, people very close to Amy. Maybe in hindsight, people will look back and go, that probably wasn't the best thing for Amy. So, I've heard what everyone has been saying, but actually, in reality, you know, there was no agenda. It was just trying to show how difficult a life she had. She was a complicated person. Amy made lots of choices. She made decisions on who to fall in love and who to kind of go out with, who to marry. No one forced her. But, you know, I think you'll see when you see the film that we're not pointing the finger at any individual person. It's just a group of people in a particular situation, a particular moment in time that kind of caused her demise, I think.
It's been a pleasure to chat with you, Asif. Congratulations on the film.
Thank you very much.
Amy premieres in select Canadian cities beginning July 10th.